The Twilight Citadel loomed against the bruised sky, its towering spires silhouetted like ancient guardians of a forgotten era. Inside its fortified walls, Commander Alara Voss stood at the command center, her heart racing as the distant rumble of alien ships echoed ominously. The last vestiges of humanity gathered around her, their faces drawn and weary, yet filled with an unyielding determination. Each survivor represented a different part of Earth's rich tapestry, united by a singular purpose: to protect their last stronghold against the relentless alien invaders. Ilara scanned the faces of her crew, soldiers, engineers, scientists, and civilians, all molded by loss and hardship into a resilient collective. The Citadel's holographic map flickered with blaring red alerts as enemy ships breached the perimeter. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, raising her voice above the din of alarms. "Listen up. We fought for too long to give up now. They may have the numbers, but we have something they lack: resolve." As the crew nodded in agreement, Ilara felt the weight of their hopes on her shoulders. She had grown into her role as commander, but the burden of leadership sometimes felt suffocating. She recalled the stories of the Citadel's origins, an ancient fortress built to protect humanity from threats both known and unknown. It had stood the test of time, and now it was their turn to honor its legacy. The ground trembled beneath them as the first wave of alien ships descended, their sleek forms gliding through the air like predators hunting their prey. Ilara's gaze hardened as she prepared for the fight ahead. She had studied the enemy's tactics, anticipating their moves, but even the most strategic plans could crumble under the pressure of chaos. "Deploy the energy shields," she commanded. The crew sprang into action, their movements choreographed from countless drills. The Citadel's defenses shimmered to life, casting a protective barrier around the stronghold. Moments later, the first blasts of alien fire erupted against the shield, a brilliant display of power and destruction. As the assault continued, Ilara caught sight of Corporal Finn, a young recruit with a fierce spirit. He was manning a turret, his hands steady as he targeted an incoming ship. Ilara felt a surge of pride. They were all in this together, fighting for their future. She made her way to him, offering words of encouragement, but the ground shook violently as an alien warship unleashed its full arsenal. "Commander," Finn shouted, eyes wide with panic. "They're overwhelming us on the eastern flank." Ilara's instincts kicked in. "Redirect power to the eastern shields. We need to hold them back." As she relayed orders, a flicker of movement caught her eye. A transmission had come through, a crackling, garbled message that seemed both urgent and important. She quickly initiated a connection, her heart pounding with curiosity. The holographic screen flickered to life, revealing a fragmented image of an ancient data file. Through the static, a voice emerged, strained yet clear. "To whoever stands in the Twilight Citadel, there lies a weapon beneath you, buried in the very heart of this fortress. Seek it, and it may grant you the power to turn the tide of battle." Ilara's heart raced. Was this a trap or a glimmer of hope? She glanced back at her crew, who were still engaged in combat, the citadel rattling under the assault. The notion of an ancient weapon hidden within the citadel ignited a fire within her. Perhaps this was the key to their survival, a chance to reclaim their fate from the clutches of destruction. With renewed determination, Ilara gathered her team. "We may have a chance to turn the tide," she announced, her voice steady. "We're going below. Find me that weapon. We will not go down without a fight." As the crew rallied behind her, she felt an exhilarating surge of hope. They would face whatever lay beneath the citadel together, determined to uncover the secrets hidden in the shadows. Ilara gathered her team in the citadel's armory, the air thick with the metallic scent of machinery and the tension of impending battle. She surveyed the faces of her trusted companions. Kale, the eccentric engineer whose wild hair and mismatched clothing belied a genius mind. Mira, the stoic warrior with a reputation for bravery that had become legendary among the survivors, and Finn, still buzzing with the adrenaline of combat, eager to prove himself. "We're going beneath the citadel," Alara announced, her voice steady despite the uncertainty ahead. "We need to find that weapon. It could be our only chance to turn the tide against the aliens." Kale's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Beneath the citadel? Are you sure it's safe down there? I've heard stories about the old tunnels, ancient traps, and remnants from before the war." "Safe or not, we have no choice," Alara replied, her resolve hardening. "We can't rely solely on the Citadel's defenses. We must take the fight to them." Mira stepped forward, her expression fierce. "I'll follow you anywhere, Commander. We've faced worse odds before. We'll find whatever it is that can help us." With a plan in place, the group descended into the dark, narrow passage that led to the Citadel's underbelly. Flickering lights illuminated the walls, revealing carvings that depicted ancient battles and forgotten heroes. The atmosphere was heavy with a sense of history, as if the very stones whispered secrets of those who had fought to protect humanity long before them. As they ventured deeper, the walls closed in, and the air grew damp and cool. The passage twisted and turned, a labyrinth of forgotten corridors. The group moved cautiously, alert for any signs of danger. Kale took the lead, his eyes gleaming with excitement as he examined the ancient mechanisms that lined the walls. "Look at this," Kale said, pointing to a series of intricate symbols etched into the stone. "These markings tell a story, a warning, perhaps. This fortress was built to guard something powerful." Alara nodded, her curiosity piqued. "Then we need to decipher these before we go any further." They gathered around as Kale studied the symbols, translating their meanings. As he worked, the sense of urgency hung in the air, driving them forward despite the creeping dread of what lay ahead. Suddenly, the ground shook, sending tremors through the tunnel. Dust fell from the ceiling as an eerie silence enveloped them. "What was that?" Finn whispered, his voice barely audible. Before Alara could respond, a low growl echoed from the shadows, followed by a series of clicking sounds that sent a chill down her spine. From the darkness emerged a creature twisted by the remnants of the Citadel's ancient defenses, an automated guardian, long dormant, now awakened by their presence. Alara instinctively reached for her weapon, but Kale raised a hand. "Wait. This might be a guardian designed to protect the heart of eternity. We don't want to provoke it." The guardian advanced, its eyes glowing a fierce blue, scanning the intruders. Alara felt her heart race, knowing they had no choice but to face this formidable foe. In a moment of desperation, she stepped forward, raising her hands in a gesture of peace. "We mean no harm. We seek the weapon hidden within these walls." The guardian paused, its glowing eyes studying Alara intently. For a heartbeat, the air hung heavy with tension as they waited for a response. Slowly, the guardian lowered its stance, the blue glow fading slightly. "Prove your worth," it rumbled, its voice deep and resonant. "Answer the riddle of the ancients, and I shall guide you to the heart." Alara exchanged glances with her team, a mix of fear and determination fueling their resolve. They were on the brink of uncovering the secrets of the Citadel. She took a deep breath and nodded. "Ask your riddle," she said, her voice steady. The guardian tilted its head, preparing to unveil the challenge that would either grant them access to the weapon they sought or seal their fate within the shadows of the Citadel forever. The guardian's eyes pulsed with a bright blue light, casting eerie shadows on the damp stone walls of the tunnel. Its voice resonated like thunder as it spoke. "To unlock the path to the heart of eternity, answer this riddle. I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Alara felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. The riddle echoed in her mind, and she could sense her team's anxious energy surrounding her. Kale was already deep in thought, his brow furrowed as he paced back and forth. Finn, still buzzing with adrenaline, was visibly fidgeting, his youthful impatience bubbling to the surface. Mira, as always, maintained her stoic demeanor, but her eyes flickered with curiosity. Think, everyone, Elara urged, trying to focus their collective thoughts. What can be cracked, made, told, and played? We need to work together. Could it be a joke? Kale suddenly blurted, excitement dancing in his voice. A joke can definitely be told, cracked as in a punchline, and you can even play along with it. Finn's eyes widened, and he nodded vigorously. That makes sense. It's a joke. The Guardian remained silent, its gaze unwavering as it awaited their final answer. Elara felt a flicker of hope. So we go with joke. Yes, it has to be, Kale exclaimed. Joke? Elara confirmed, raising her voice. The answer is a joke. For a heartbeat, the tunnel was steeped in silence, tension crackling like static in the air. Then, the Guardian straightened, the glow of its eyes intensifying. You are correct, it announced, its tone shifting to a more melodic resonance. Your minds are sharp and your hearts brave. Follow me, and I shall reveal the way. The ground shifted beneath them, revealing a hidden passage that opened to a grand chamber bathed in soft, ethereal light. As they entered, awe washed over the group. The walls of the chamber were lined with ancient runes that shimmered with energy, and at the center stood a pedestal, atop which rested the heart of eternity, a crystalline orb pulsating with an inner light. Elara stepped forward, captivated by its beauty. This is it, she breathed, the enormity of their discovery sinking in. This is what we came for. Before she could reach out, the Guardian's voice interrupted her thoughts. You must understand the power you seek. It is not merely a weapon, it is a force that can reshape destiny. It demands sacrifice, and only those worthy may harness its energy. The weight of those words hung heavy in the air. Elara exchanged glances with her team, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. The path ahead was filled with unknown dangers, but the bond they had forged in the face of adversity began to solidify into a shared purpose. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the chamber, reverberating against the stone walls. The sound sent a shiver down their spines. They found us, Mira shouted, instinctively reaching for her weapon. Panic surged through the group as they prepared for an ambush. Elara knew they had to act quickly. We need to secure the heart and protect each other. Finn, Kale, cover our flanks. Mira, with me. As they positioned themselves defensively, a group of alien soldiers burst into the chamber, their forms slick and menacing. The Guardians of the Citadel were no longer enough. In that moment, Elara's heart raced, but she felt an unwavering determination surge within her. Fight, she commanded, adrenaline coursing through her veins. For the Citadel, for humanity. The chaos erupted as blaster fire lit up the chamber, illuminating their faces with stark shadows. Elara fought alongside her team, instinct guiding her as she moved fluidly between alien soldiers, her weapon striking true. Kale, despite his earlier fears, unleashed his creativity, using makeshift devices to create distractions and traps that turned the tide of battle. Mira fought with relentless ferocity, her strikes precise and deadly, embodying the spirit of a true warrior. Finn, propelled by adrenaline, found his footing as he joined the fray, defending his friends with newfound courage. They fought side by side, each of them complementing the other's strengths, their bond growing stronger with every shot fired. In the heat of battle, the earlier tensions faded away, replaced by a fierce unity. They were no longer just survivors, they had become a team, one that fought for a shared future. As the last alien fell, silence enveloped the chamber once more, save for their ragged breaths and the pulsating heartbeat of the heart of eternity. Elara turned to her team, pride swelling within her. We did it. We fought together. In that moment, they knew they had forged something unbreakable, a unity that would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. The path to reclaiming their destiny had begun. As the last echoes of battle faded, Elara and her team stood in the chamber, catching their breath. The heart of eternity pulsed gently at the center of the room, its soft glow illuminating their faces. Despite the recent chaos, a profound sense of purpose enveloped them. They had fought valiantly, and now the true test awaited them, the awakening of the heart and the guardian that protected it. "Let's do this," Ilara said, stepping closer to the pedestal. The guardian, now an ally, stood nearby, its imposing form both reassuring and intimidating. It seemed to sense her resolve and began to speak. "To awaken the heart, you must each offer a piece of yourselves. This is a bond that transcends mere energy. It requires your intentions, your sacrifices. Only then will its true power be unlocked." Ilara turned to her team, looking into their eyes. Each of them had faced their own demons during their journey, and this moment called for absolute trust. "We can do this together," she said. "We've already proven we're stronger as a team." Kale stepped forward, his usual enthusiasm tempered by a newfound seriousness. "I've studied the ancient texts, and I believe each of us must focus on what we are willing to sacrifice. It could be a memory, a fear, or even a part of our essence. Whatever we choose, it must come from the heart." Finn swallowed hard, clearly feeling the weight of what was being asked. "I'm in. I'd do anything to protect what's left of humanity." His voice was firm, yet vulnerable. Mira nodded, her stoic nature unwavering. "We fight for our future. This is a small price to pay." Ilara felt a surge of gratitude. They were ready to make this leap together. She stepped forward, her hand hovering above the heart of eternity. "I offer my fear of failure, the worry that I can't protect you all. I release it now, so I can embrace my role as your leader without doubt." As her words hung in the air, the heart responded, absorbing her intent. The crystal glowed brighter, and a warm energy spread through the chamber. Kale followed suit, his voice trembling slightly. "I offer my self-doubt, the belief that I'm just a scared engineer and nothing more. I want to be brave for all of you." The heart pulsed again, resonating with Cal's declaration, pulling his sacrifice into its depths. Next was Mira, who stepped forward with fierce determination. "I offer my memories of loss, every loved one I have lost in this fight. I will not let their sacrifices be in vain." As she spoke, the heart's glow transformed into a radiant blue, enveloping Mira in a shimmering aura. Finally, Finn stepped up, youthful bravado replaced by genuine emotion. "I offer my innocence. I want to grow, to be someone who can protect others. I will become stronger for this." The heart of eternity erupted in a dazzling light, illuminating the chamber like a supernova. Ilara felt the energy course through her veins, binding them all together in an unbreakable connection. The chamber began to shake as the energy from the heart reached its zenith. Suddenly, the guardian stepped forward, raising its arms. "Prepare yourselves. The awakening has begun." The chamber transformed, energy swirling around them as the heart released waves of power. The ground beneath them trembled, and the walls pulsated in sync with the heart's rhythm. A colossal form began to rise from the center, the energy coalescing into a magnificent figure, an ancient sentinel, armored in ethereal light, its features noble and fierce. As the sentinel emerged fully, the guardian spoke again, its voice now infused with a warmth that resonated with the team. "You have awakened the guardian of the heart. Together, you will harness its power to protect your world and shape your destiny." Ilara looked at her team, a mixture of awe and determination filling her heart. They had awakened something powerful, but the battle was far from over. With the guardian and the sentinel at their side, they were now ready to face the incoming storm. But they knew that each step forward would come with its own set of challenges. The citadel trembled with energy, and Ilara could feel the heartbeat of hope resonate through the air. "Let's prepare for what's next," she commanded, her voice steady. "We've come too far to turn back now. We will reclaim our future together." As they gathered their weapons and fortified their resolve, Ilara knew this was just the beginning. The sentinel stood beside them, a beacon of strength, ready to face whatever lay ahead in the fierce struggle for humanity's survival. As the energy from the heart of eternity flowed through the chamber, Ilara and her team felt a renewed sense of purpose. The ancient sentinel, now fully awakened, stood at their side, its presence both imposing and reassuring. With its towering stature and radiant armor, it exuded an aura of confidence that bolstered their spirits. They had a fighting chance against the alien forces that threatened to engulf the Twilight Citadel. The Sentinel's voice echoed in the chamber, rich and resonant. "I am here to assist you in reclaiming your fortress. With my strength and your resolve, we will turn the tide of this battle." Ilara nodded, her heart racing. "Then let's get to work. We need to prepare for the assault. The enemy won't wait for us to gather our strength." As they ascended from the depths of the citadel, the sounds of battle filled the air. Blaster fire rang out, and the ground trembled beneath the weight of alien ships hovering above. The citadel's defenses were holding, but for how long? Ilara could see the beleaguered soldiers of the citadel fighting valiantly against overwhelming odds. "Gather your weapons," Ilara commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We're joining the fight. The Sentinel will help us breach their ranks." Once outside, Ilara surveyed the battlefield. Alien ships loomed overhead, unleashing relentless fire upon the citadel. Ground troops advanced, their sleek forms darting between the debris, creating a wave of destruction. Ilara felt a swell of determination within her. They would not let this fortress fall. "Sentinel, can you create a path through their lines?" she asked, readying her weapon. The Sentinel nodded, raising a massive hand toward the oncoming alien forces. With a gesture, it summoned an explosion of energy that rippled outward, sending waves of force crashing into the enemy ranks. The aliens faltered, stunned by the sheer power of the Guardian. "Now, move in," Ilara shouted, leading her team forward. As they charged into the fray, the feeling of unity and strength surged among them. Ilara fought alongside Kale and Mira, their movements synchronized as they cut through the disoriented alien soldiers. The Sentinel followed closely, clearing a path with its tremendous power. Each swing of its arm sent enemies flying, and with each blast of energy, the Citadel's defenders gained ground. But the tide of battle was unpredictable. A new wave of alien soldiers surged forward, led by a formidable commander cloaked in dark armor. Its presence sent a shiver down Ilara's spine. This was not just an ordinary enemy, but a leader among their ranks, someone who had likely orchestrated the assault. The commander raised a weapon that glowed ominously. "You think your little fortress can withstand us? We are Legion, and your time is over." Ilara felt a rush of adrenaline. "We won't let you take this place from us," she yelled back, raising her blaster to meet the threat head-on. With a fierce battle cry, the commander unleashed a powerful energy blast toward the Citadel's defenses. Ilara and her team watched in horror as the shields flickered, struggling against the onslaught. "We need to focus fire on that commander," she shouted, rallying her team. As they targeted the commander, the Sentinel provided cover, unleashing a torrent of energy that forced the commander to divert its attention. Ilara seized the opportunity, charging forward with her blaster raised. Kale followed closely, deploying traps and distractions to create openings in the enemy's defenses. Mira was right at their side, her blade glinting in the chaotic light as she cut down anything that threatened her comrades. With their combined efforts, they pushed through the chaos, determined to reach the commander. Ilara could feel her heart pounding in her chest as they engaged in a fierce battle, the energy of their unity flowing through them like fire. Finally, as the tide began to turn, Ilara locked eyes with the alien commander. "This ends now," she shouted, channeling every ounce of her strength and courage into her next move. In that moment, with her team beside her, she knew they had the power to reclaim their fortress. The Citadel's heartbeat resonated with the courage they had forged together, and as the battle raged on, the hope of humanity surged anew. They would fight for their home, for their future, and they would not back down. The battlefield was a cacophony of chaos, with the air thickened by the acrid smell of smoke and the echo of blaster fire. Elara, her heart pounding, pressed forward through the maelstrom alongside her team. The Sentinel fought valiantly, creating a shield of energy that protected them from the onslaught of alien forces. They were close now, so close to the enemy commander that Elara could feel the weight of the battle bearing down on them. Together, Elara shouted, her voice cutting through the din, "We end this now." With a united front, they advanced, their weapons primed and determination etched on their faces. Kale unleashed a series of cleverly crafted traps that ensnared the approaching aliens, momentarily halting their advance. Mira moved like a whirlwind, her blade flashing as she cut through enemies with fierce precision. Finn followed closely, covering their flanks and firing with newfound confidence. Elara felt a surge of adrenaline as they closed the distance to the commander. It stood defiantly, energy crackling at its fingertips, preparing to unleash another devastating blast. But Elara would not let fear deter her. "We can do this," she encouraged her team, their resolve merging into a powerful force. As they reached the commander, Elara took the lead. "You will not take this citadel. This is our home." She fired a precise shot aimed directly at the commander's weapon, striking true. The weapon exploded in a shower of sparks, causing the commander to stagger back in shock. Seizing the opportunity, Mira lunged forward, her sword gleaming with lethal intent. The two forces collided, and a fierce struggle ensued. The commander, though formidable, was caught off guard by the unity and resilience of the group. Elara could see the moment it realized it had underestimated them. Kale, seizing his moment of inspiration, activated a device he had cobbled together from the Citadel's remnants. A surge of energy erupted from the ground, ensnaring the alien troops in a web of light. The tide of battle began to turn in their favor, the enemy ranks faltering as confusion spread. With the commander distracted, Finn charged forward, channeling the bravery he had found within himself. He tackled the commander, pushing it off balance and allowing Elara and Mira to close in. Together, they moved in unison, striking with unwavering precision. The Sentinel stood guard, blasting away any remaining enemies that threatened to interfere. In a final surge, Elara raised her weapon, locking eyes with the commander. "For the Citadel," she cried out, and with a steady hand, she pulled the trigger. The shot rang out, bright and definitive, striking the commander squarely in the chest. The alien leader fell, its form dissolving into a haze of energy as the remaining troops scattered in fear. With their leader defeated, the enemy forces retreated, abandoning the siege in a panic. The Citadel stood tall, a bastion of hope and resilience against the encroaching darkness. Elara and her team, breathing heavily, exchanged glances filled with a mix of disbelief and elation. They had done it. As the last of the alien forces disappeared into the horizon, the atmosphere shifted. The oppressive weight of despair began to lift, replaced by a sense of triumph. The dawn of a new era was upon them. The Sentinel turned to the group, its voice filled with warmth. "You have awakened not only the heart, but also the true spirit of this fortress. The Citadel is yours to protect, and you have proven yourselves worthy guardians." Elara felt a swell of pride, looking at her friends, her family. "We will protect it together. We faced the darkness and emerged stronger. This Citadel will stand as a symbol of our fight, our unity." With the first light of dawn breaking over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and orange, Elara knew that their journey was far from over. They had awakened a force that would guide and protect them, and together, they would rebuild, reclaiming not just their fortress but their future. As they stood united against the rising sun, they felt a sense of hope rekindle within them. The Citadel had become more than just a fortress. It was a beacon of resilience, a reminder that even in the face of despair, humanity could rise, united, to forge a new dawn.